Hello, Tom Lebecki here with the latest edition of the New Theory podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Ron, who is going to be talking about new ways to work, and he's targeting Hoboken, New Jersey. This is an exciting solution. Ron, welcome to the New Theory podcast. How you doing today?
Thank you. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, well, okay, Ron. So first, let's go through. You're launching an app. It's actually live now. We'll put links below. You're launching an app, and give us first is, kind of what does the app do, and then go through, why you launched it.
Okay, so Cuppasa is the name of the app. It's an app for people, remote workers or independent professionals who today are working from home, and every now and then, go crazy at home, want to take a breather, and the natural place to go for many people today is a coffee shop. Now, the problem with that is finding a coffee shop that addresses your specific needs for that day and even know if there is a space available there. Not only that, a lot of people leave their home because they tend to get very, lonely at home. So they go to coffee shops, but there they still don't really make connections with other people. So that's basically what we want to solve for people who are looking to work from coffee shops. So what our app does is it allows you from the comfort of your home to find places to work, coffee shops, and not only can you find the coffee shops in your area that welcome you to work from their place, you can also see the seat availability from your home. And once you're there, you check into the coffee shop and you can also see who is checked in there besides you. So you can create meaningful connections, either professional or personal. And we even find coffee shops based on your preferences, also with regards to the kind of opportunities you may be looking for. On top of all of that, once you're checked in, the coffee shop itself also will send you notifications on special deals, off the menu items, really exclusive deals for the Cuppasa members.
Well,
So that's basically what we do.
love it. When I first heard about it, I fell in love with it because I was in outside sales in corporate for 10 years, and we would meet coffee shops, diners, etc., and you were at the mercy of showing up there hoping that something is open. Is it a place that's conducive to meetings, that kind of stuff. In my entrepreneurial life, for New Theory in our agency, we actually don't have an office. We all work remote and by design. And then when we do meet up with clients or meet up with each other, it's still hit or miss. So I love, just as an outside sales rep former and as a entrepreneur without an actual location, I just bought a house. So although I'm comfortable having people that I work with come to my house, but maybe not clients, just for many reasons. And the house is not even ready to have colleagues over. So I want to meet them in a coffee shop, diner, etc. So with that being said, I love the solution. So I download the app Cuppasa. First of all, where can we get it? Is it in the two main stores? Where can we get it?
Okay. So first of all, thank you for your feedback. And just to tap into that, yeah. So that need that you described is actually the need that my co-founder and myself had ourselves. So that's basically the reason why we developed this app, because we needed it ourselves. We had the same issues ourselves, finding a place to work from, and not only finding a place to work from, knowing that you're welcome to work from there. It takes, lifts a huge burden from a person who wants to work. If you're feeling that you're being looked at in a funny way, that people don't really want you there, you don't feel comfortable working, right? So I just wanted to tap into that. Now to your question. Yeah, our app is available both on the App Store, the Apple App Store, and the Google Play Store. And currently, our service is being offered exclusively in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Yep.
And we have several coffee shops working with us already, and that number of coffee shops will grow in the near future.
Now I'm guessing that. So the other thing is, okay, so you and I, Ron and Tom, are going to meet. or I'm going to go work by myself, either way. And I go to some coffee shops, and not all coffee shops are created equal. I go to coffee shops for a few reasons, obviously. One, it is a welcoming place to work. Two is obviously I drink a lot of coffee, so like, it makes natural sense, right? And then number three, um, and the main thing is I assume it is Wi-Fi, and like not all coffee shops are created equal. I've been to a few that don't have Wi-Fi, or they don't have big tables, and they're not conducive to work. So walk me through, like, how do you vet these coffee shops? Have Wi-Fi, and what do you do to vet to make sure that they're conducive to work?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, it's important to say that our main goal is to work exclusively with coffee shops that actually work with us. So they, as opposed to, other solutions that may be out there in the market that allow you to just, find coffee shops in your area. We actually work with these coffee shops, and they're telling us, hey, people are welcome to work in my place within these hours. And they even allocate specific tables for that audience. So naturally, these are the places that will have the Wi-Fi that you need and all of the other amenities. Having said that, our system currently also contains additional coffee shops that we have visited ourselves. We have seen that they are comfortable spaces to work from, and they have all of the necessary amenities, including Wi-Fi. And they will also, some of those will also appear in our system for now. For the places that do work with us, not only we know they have Wi-Fi, once you've checked in, you can easily find the Wi-Fi details from within the app, even copy it straight to your Wi-Fi settings and just log on to the Wi-Fi. So we put in all of these small features that make life easier for the person looking to work from a coffee shop, as opposed to having to look for the password. We all been there, going to the barista, asking for the password. So yeah, that's how we approach that.
I love it. Now, okay, so now to shift gears a little bit, for the coffee shop itself, I listen, pretty simple. I'm a smart guy, or semi-smart guy. Hey, I signed up Cuppasa. I probably get a few butts in the chair that I normally wouldn't get. Engage and create a little bit of brand loyalty. Generally, I remember my corporate days. I had a corporate card. I spent a little bit more because I was getting reimbursed because I was an outside salesperson. Or even as an entrepreneur, I'll spend more because I'm there for a while. But sometimes I remember one day I was in a coffee shop, and I was there for like 4 hours. I had certain coffee shops I had to work from, and they were safe zones, I called it, meaning I had to get out of the house, and psychologically I just worked better there, or a library, etc. So I am your core customer for this. But if I'm in a coffee shop, there was one day I sat there, and I was probably there for 4 hours. Pretty busy coffee shop. It wasn't taking up too much space. But I spent $7. It wasn't like I was trying to be disingenuous. I just didn't have a high, order value that day. So, walk me through the economics. Do people that hang out for 4 hours, do they spend more on average than your regular diner, a coffee goer? Because I'm thinking the name of the game for these coffee shops is turnover. So walk me through the economics and the benefit for a coffee shop.
Yeah, so that's a good question, and you're actually spot on. This is the other side of our application, of why we founded this company, because currently, to be honest, the way it's working, it's not really sustainable. Coffee shops have been designed and are still being implemented using that same design, with the idea that people sit down for half an hour to an hour, have a cup of coffee, maybe, a small croissant or whatever, and then get up, and they just have a high turnover. Suddenly, people over the last decade have started to sit down for longer times, and coffee shops really have a hard time dealing with this. So our solution provides a couple of things for the coffee shop. The first thing being control. So currently, they have no control whatsoever when people come in, and when people come in. Now, the funny thing is, all the coffee shops that we've spoken with, they have these off-peak hours that they're more than happy to have people sit there and order a bit less even than they would have liked to, just as long as people are sitting in their shop. And the funny thing is that not every coffee shop has the same off-peak hours. So you have the coffee shop that provides lunch, as opposed to another coffee shop that doesn't have food. So obviously during lunch hours, that coffee shop doesn't want people sitting down and working from their space. And the coffee shop that doesn't provide lunch has off-peak hours during these hours. So we actually distribute this growing number of people that are looking for places to work over coffee shops within an area. And we see it already in the Hoboken area, where you have coffee shops literally 2 blocks away from each other with very different off-peak hours. So the second thing, the fact that people are now sitting down in the coffee shop by themselves on a table that should seat 4 people is also a problem. So we basically optimize the space for the coffee shops by creating an incentive for people to sit together. How do we create that incentive? Like I said before, people that are looking to work together and meet other people, we seat them together based on their preferences. And if you're today in a different mood, you can also set your mood in our app. So you can set either, you know, I want to work, let me work, or you can say, hey, I want to work and chat. So based on that mood, we also seat people together. So if you're worried that you're going to sit down with other people that are going to bother you, we make sure to seat people together that want to work and, you know, just want to be plugged in and don't want to talk to other people.
Sorry about that. Okay, so that makes sense. Predictable revenue, get to maximize their square foot, every linear square foot, and that makes perfect sense. So I love everything about it. In your research, would, you know, again, aside for getting some butts in the chairs that normally wouldn't be there, brand loyalty, any word on, do they spend a little bit more on average? A potential Cuppasa, you know, do you have your Cuppasa clients maybe spending $17 average order value versus maybe 12? You know, like, is that part of your model, and is that what you projected, or you're not even there yet? You just want to see, you know, get some butts in the chairs. Walk us through in terms of, you know, average order value, and will Cuppasa clients spend a little more or even less? Walk me through that.
Yeah, so a lot of it is still based on assumptions, which are based, you know, on both on research and knowledge. As you know, I personally have been developing digital products for over 20 years. Nice. So based on that knowledge, and my specialty is user experience. So my specialty is understanding the way people behave. And so based on that knowledge and our research, and still some assumptions also, there are a couple of things that would increase the spend. And it's important to say that we're looking to do that in a positive manner. So as opposed to, you know, telling people, hey, this is a minimum amount you have to spend, we're talking about a couple of things. So the first thing, if you have the tables where people sit together and not only work, but also socialize a bit. So when people sit together and talk, they have a tendency, you know, to have another drink together, or if the one person is having a bite, then that would incentivize another person to have a bite as well. So that's the first thing.
True.
The second thing is the fact that besides, you know, providing the application, we take it upon ourselves to provide information and in a sense education as well to our community, because many people don't realize that they're sitting down in a privately owned space that has a lot of overhead, especially under real estate, and they actually potentially damage their favorite coffee shop when they sit down for 4 hours on 1 cup of coffee. And then finally, the last part being the fact that the coffee shop suddenly has the means to communicate with the audience that sits down and offering, you know, the special deals or the secret of the menu items, stuff like that, will also be part of this way, to create a more balanced situation. We're not looking to have people now spend, hundreds of dollars, but instead of the one coffee, maybe have a coffee and a sandwich, or 2 cups of coffee. And that's what we're aiming for. We are aiming, to create a more sustainable situation.
Now, I was actually chatting with an editor of a publication recently, and initially their team had an office based out of Kearney, New Jersey, Kearney Point, because though it was Hoboken based, they went over to Kearney Point. It made sense. Team of 3 or 4 people. The salesperson was always out and about. The designer was a little far, so they kind of only had 2 members going there. So it didn't make sense to have an office. Then they downgraded kind of the common area, $250 or whatever. And like that didn't make sense either, because it didn't go that much. They had to sit in common areas. The coffee was bad. So they decided to bail the whole thing, and now they meet in coffee shops when they meet up. And so I'm actually thinking, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but WeWork was having some corporate problems, and their model was under siege. Just people are looking to. I know SaaS is a big, people, everything's subscriptions nowadays. But like as an entrepreneur, I'm looking to keep my costs down, and $250 is not a small number. So like, for an open area, just to meet a few times a month, that could be as much as $50 a meeting. So, could you kind of be like the WeWork for remote? Was that a consideration where, you might be a decentralized WeWork and get the supply from the coffee shops? Was that kind of where you're going? Or, I know that's way far ahead. Or is that something you're like, maybe you stumbled upon and you're like, whoa, wow, this is pretty cool. Give us kind of how, versus WeWork, Cuppasa can maybe, appropriate some of those clients over, save some entrepreneurs money, and make coffee shops a little bit more prosperous. Walk us through that.
So yeah, that's a good point, and you're obviously not the first to make that observation. Having said that, I would like to be careful in that comparison in one way. A lot of solutions today talk about flexibility, but as you said, you have this commitment. You have this commitment of having to pay X amount of dollars every month. Yeah. And we're all about the flexibility, because that's really important. We really want to offer the flexibility. So, you're now at home, you're working, and suddenly you just feel like getting out. And right. Then it's very accessible. You just open the app, you look, hey, what places are in my area? Where am I welcome? Who's checked in there already? Maybe, I'm a product guy and I want to do some research and I want to talk to students, or I am I'm an entrepreneur and I'm looking for a blogger to do some work for me, or I'm a programmer and I'm looking for a designer. So I can even see that from my home. And then, on the fly, just find a place to sit for a couple of hours and then move on. So at the moment, I don't see us heading in the direction of subscriptions and predefined packages. We want to try to keep it as flexible as possible, because we really believe that that's what's needed at the moment. Yeah. As opposed to, all of the solutions that claim to be flexible, but you still have this commitment. And yeah. Once you have this commitment, you're gonna go into that, that workspace every day because you paid for it. And where's the flexibility in that?
Well, and as you build the ecosystem, I wouldn't be shocked if those folks reach out to you and say, hey, maybe they can use it for the day, or, and I love the coffee shop model, because let's be honest, you can just throw in some earbuds and get to work. And if you need to make a phone call, it's a loud place anyway. Ron, I'm assuming this is not your first rodeo. You said you've been in business about 20 years. Give us, your entrepreneurial career. How'd you start out? And, just give us a little bit of your background.
Okay, so first of all, it's important to say that I have a co-founder, and he's also my brother. So it runs in the family.
Nice.
So my brother has been also involved in the high-tech industry for over 20 years. He's the tech guy, he's a developer. He's been involved in a lot of startups over the last 20 years, 20 plus years. As I've been myself, I've been more on the product side. I started out as a designer and then very quickly moved into more of the, the characterizations of products, user experience, product management, and product design. And been a part of many startups, too many to mention. In a lot of industries, I've done a lot in the gaming industry, the casual gaming industry, and then moved on to the more corporate side of things, big data analysis, secured file sharing, stuff like that. And over the years, we've worked together, my brother and myself, on several small projects. But this time we decided to really build a big company from the ground up. And that's what we've been doing for the last year.
I'm excited. I literally going to download post call. So give me, how can we find the app?
So the name of our app is Cuppasa, which is a wordplay. So we looked at the word, Cuppa, Cuppa Joe, Cuppa Coffee.
Nice.
So CUPPA, and then we wanted to add, the community side and aspect of the product as well to the name. So we added the sa, which now sounds like Cuppasa. So how are you doing? So it's CUPPASA, and then you can find us on the App Store. You can find us on the Play Store, and of course our website, cuppasa.com.
Love it. Now, I want to give a shout out to the brave coffee shops that signed up for your launch, because that's exciting for them as well. And let's drive some traffic there as well. So who signed up so far?
So far, we have a close relationship with Hudson Coffee Company on Hudson Street.
Beautiful.
We have 2 locations of Chocopen, one on Hudson Street, 1500 Hudson Street, and one on First Street. And we started working with Black Train as well. Black Rail, sorry, Black Rail Coffee. So very excited to have these coffee shops on board. And we've been in touch with other coffee shops that are definitely excited to join as well. But as you said, these brave coffee shops were our early adopters and are definitely worth a shout out.
Very good. So Ran Kunst, co-founder of Cuppasa, a new way to work, and currently launched in Hoboken. Ran, thank you for being on the New Theory podcast.
Thank you for having me.